exactly the same place as Georgia Taylor Brown. That changes everything. And again, it's the championship leader. Hayden Wilde is saying, I am the favourite for this. I will be doing the job here.
I think one thing you have to say for Hayden is he's an incredible tactician. No matter what position he comes out of the swim in, he seems to be able to capitalise on that.
Hayden's in sizzling form. He's been in great form for the entire series, but he's loving this technical format.
Well, Hayden Wilde, who has put a marker down for the rest of the field. No one wants this more than Hayden Wilde wants it, I think, at this point. Hayden Wilde comes onto the black carpet. What an effort from the Falcon. He does it, and in the end, he does it easy, and he loves it as well. It looks just like it did in London. Hayden Wilde is your champion, Malibu. He needed that. He needed to hit back Hayden Wilde.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I was a little bit concerned at the beginning of the season. I'd never doubt Hayden as an athlete and his ability, but he was having a few problems.
It's really, really difficult to deal with an illness or an injury going into a race. To know in the days immediately before a race that you're having to go to hospital or see doctors or have medications. Nobody wants that going into a race. There's no doubt that that plays into your mind. But I do think Hayden is made of a certain steel that means that he will be able to take that start line and just put it out of his mind and just give whatever his body's got on that day.
Hayden Wilde looks like he might have this in the bag and set down a marker to say, I am the man to beat for this series. He won in London in 2021. He looks behind, he sees plenty of room to Matt Hauser. The Falcon's flying though here at West India Quay. He knows he's got it in the bag. There are the Falcon wings. He comes onto the black carpet. He waves to the crowd. It's Hayden Wilde who is going to do the job. Number one here in London. Hauser does hold off Yee. And Matt Hauser, a supreme performance from the Australian.
It's always nice to get a win on those boys because I know they're world class. So it's been like that actually through us three this whole year. First, second, third, or whatever. It doesn't matter what way it goes, but we've all been on the podium at the top, and we've all been on the podium at third and second this whole year. So you can talk about the Hayden and Alex rivalry, but there's still Matty there. Like, he's such a strong athlete as well.
Super League and fishing are very similar. You haven't caught the fish unless it's in the boat, and you haven't won unless you've crossed the line first. And I've caught him in the bum.
There he is.
Yeah, so I was born in New Zealand in a little place called Taupo, and the youngest of three. Followed my dad around. He was a pilot, so we moved quite irregularly to where the job was. Around high school time, moved over to Whakatane, which was just literally over the hills, like 5 minutes. And that's where we grew up as kids. It's real rural in a way, small little town of 30,000 strong. Pretty much everyone knows everyone. We literally, we walked to school with bare feet. We'd just go up and would jump the fence at school. It's not that big, and we'd play ultimate tag and just go full send and jump everywhere, and you'd probably come out with a few cuts and bruises, but it was a good time with the boys. Being the youngest child, you kind of wanted to be better than your older brothers at everything, so you kind of did what they did. The days and the memories that I have were good, there was so many times that we got to go up into the plane and fly around in this plane, which was really, really cool as a young fella. He was a fertilizer pilot, so just 2 seats, and you can fly super low to the ground and see the world from above. You get to actually experience, it feels like you're flying the thing, it's really, really cool, and you get to put the helmet on and all sorts. So, but yeah, there's obviously, it's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, and there's always that risk as well. It was a weekend, I was at my mate's house playing tiggy. My mum called up and she was like, "Oh, Hayden, you have to go home." And I was like, "Oh, no, all good, why is that?" And she's like, "Oh, you just have to go home." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sweet," because obviously mum couldn't come pick me up. So yeah, we rock up to home, and I thought it was a great shindig, great little party going on, but yeah, the reality was my dad passed away, so to kind of find my own path was quite tough in the first few years. I guess I was at that age where I kind of knew, but I kind of didn't really understand in a way, so it was really tough. As a young, 11-year-old, you didn't really grow up with a male role model. But I was really lucky to have 2 older brothers. They were massive in what I'm kind of doing now, and they're massive and probably my biggest supporters as well. So, and my mum, she's been there every step of the way. She's just been there, helped me. She's kind of actually probably the one that tells me to slow down a bit. The old fella's watching. He was an adrenaline junkie and a risk taker. So I think that's how I look at myself, as just loved the adrenaline of being up front and just giving it some, and just the adrenaline of just pushing the limits.
So what an amazing race last week in London. I expect him to be pushing at the front. Probably the favourite going into this format this week. I think Matt Hauser is going to give him a very hard time, but Hayden Wilde will be tough to beat.
He knows that he needs to execute his best race. Those small details Hayden has to get right to put Matt under pressure. How Matt's going to react under that pressure, we do not know.
Yeah, speaking of Hayden Wilde, there he is, just coming across the dismount line. He's on the far right of your screen there, just trying to find a way through this big gap. He was about 8 seconds back after the swim. That is a lot better than last week, where he finished dead last out of the first swim, so he's in a decent position.
Hayden Wilde swims better on the front. I think he likes the clear water. He gets to get his own line into the swim buoys. We saw him last week really track Matt Hauser in that 3rd swim. He's a very, very clever tactician, Hayden Wilde.
Hayden Wilde continues to lead from the front.
And there's Matt Hauser distancing
all
himself
by
from the group
himself
behind.
Hayden would have been diving in knowing he had a big lead, thinking this is mine for the taking.
Massive swim by Matt Hauser to put himself in the game. He's ready to go around Hayden Wilde, who entered the water first and will come out 5th.
Momentum is a powerful thing in such a short race, and that's exactly what Matty had.
Matt Hauser looking fantastic. What a race from Matt.
He looked so composed 800 metres ago,
Yes.
and now he looks under pressure, Hayden Wilde.
Hayden was a little bit under the weather, but when you're at that level, you've got to go with the flow. So yeah, Matty Hauser took it to him big time.
I wanted to win in Munich. At the end of the day, I just got my ass kicked by Matt, and that's the reality. There was no hiding from that. There was no excuses. It was just body didn't turn up, and that's racing, But it's really nice to get punished in Munich and coming 3rd, because it kind of just makes me way more hungrier. Yo, I'm Hayden. Welcome to my crib. Whenever you go to an event, you kind of like to get like a keychain or something from like different locations. For me, it's like I just want to like buy a different Lego piece from every country. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid we're gonna have like 20 boxes soon.
Helga will love it. Helga will love it. They hold like some sort of sentimental value, but also when you're building it, it reminds me of racing as well. Like, you've got to be focused, but you've also got to keep calm, relaxing, and you're always thinking on the spot, but not thinking too far ahead.
Strategy and details and stuff, and I think Hayden is a guy that loves the details and stuff as well.
Every second counts on this build.
He's meticulous with his kit. He gives it to the mechanic, but I feel like he takes that on again and rechecks everything, double, triple checks everything. He's on it. He's on every little thing. And I think that's good. I think that's good to have that mentality. And that comes across in everything, and probably obviously in his training, but in particular in his racing.
Yeah, I make coffee for a race. It's just like a normal morning routine. I make a coffee for Hannah and I. DJ Wilde. Shit hot, but good coffee. Good coffee.
At the moment, Hayden is can't believe I'm going to say this, Hayden's almost flawless. You know, the way he flows and floats through transition. He is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's his execution. He has been a student of the sport, and now he's moving up to master. Not grandmaster, that's still Vince, but he is moving up in his execution of Super League racing. Everything he does is building confidence. It's a snowball. He's rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger, and he's harder to beat. They're scratching their heads. You know, they are thinking, how do we beat this guy? We swim quicker than him. We go over the top of him, but he comes back. He is just a fierce racer, and he is creating his own luck. He's not relying on anyone else to drag him to the front. He's not waiting for anyone else to make a mistake. He's so sure of what to do, and that would scare his opponents, absolutely.
I guess that's kind of how I've looked at my father's passing. For me, it just made me the person I am today. It's made me self-sufficient and built me as a strong character. Yeah, it's led me a lot of life lessons to do a lot of stuff, you know, by yourself. It's great to get help whenever you need it, but to do everything by yourself takes a lot as an athlete. So at least I kind of learnt those values of digging in yourself and just getting it done.
5 wide going into the first buoy. The big question is, where is Hayden Wilde? We know he's got supreme bike handling skills, and he's going to need them if he's going to have a lot of traffic between him and the leaders, and Matt Hauser will know that he needs to lead from the front and put as much time as possible into the Falcon. Hayden Wilde.
My weakness is the swim, but I can't overthink that, and that's what I've had a lot of help with, because I definitely know it's my weakness and it could be make or break to my race, but when you're on the start line you can't think that. I actually come up to racing and I'm shit scared of, am I actually going to be in the group at all? Just like any other ordinary person, to try and fight those inner demons.
Looking back through the splits, Johnny Brownlee 11.3 seconds back, Hayden Wilde was 10 seconds back, and Matt Hauser was 8.7 seconds back. The noise just surging here as down one of the straights comes Dixon with Hauser, Mislachok, Nina, and there is Wilde in the purple. And it's Hayden Wilde and Matt Hauser who have risen to the front now.
You know, you're still racing the best in the world. It's a privilege to be there, and it's a privilege to be on the podium winning races. Like, not everyone can say that I'm one of the world's best. That's a pretty cool feeling.
Still think that Hayden Wilde possibly has the edge on the day. I think he's a wily character. He's put himself in a brilliant position, and he's just shown across this series he's so hard to beat.
And off goes Hayden Wilde, 2 seconds to Kenji Nina, and then a couple more to Matt Hauser, and straight out. Such a great mount onto the bike from Hayden Wilde, who has been there and done that despite being so early on in his career. Can anyone chase him down? None.
He's obviously one of the strongest cyclists that we have on the series, and I just think he might stay away. There is an advantage to being on your own.
I want to be the sort of athlete that wins a race by being strong in all disciplines and not hiding away. I'd rather be in the front and win it my way than winning it sitting in the group and just going with the pace. Or you can be that guy that forces the pace and makes the guys behind suffer. I like to be that guy.
That is a bike leg that has blown the field completely apart. He started 2 seconds ahead of everybody else. He had a great transition onto the bike, and he's turned that into 17 seconds.
Being full gas and being aggressive, that's rewarded me pretty well this year.
He just takes the risks and he goes for it. And that's why he's a winner.
There's 2 kilometres left to go in this one. And if it finishes like this, Hayden Wilde will win this race and the title. It's possible he will have an unassailable lead.
He's looking like it's just no one's going to get even close to him. That gap back to the nearest person is going out, if anything, and he's just going to storm home here in Toulouse.
He is going to come on to the black carpet, wave the Falcon wings, pick up a shark and cross the line. A little bit of showmanship. The shark wins here in Toulouse.
I kind of now have that feeling where kind of like a flow state where you just rock up on a line. It's so hard for me not to see myself on a podium. Like, you get into like this mental state and this rhythm, which is a really weird feeling, but as an athlete, that's what you strive to get to. This sort of feeling doesn't last forever. You might as well use it whilst you got it.
Hayden Wilde is in the box seat here in NEOM.
Yes, Hayden, I got Hannibal Lecter to service your bike. Yes, Hannibal was... look good? Yes, he was slashing upon your tyres.
Lucky I got a spare one.
I think Hayden, that was definitely on the top of his list, was to win this series one day, because I just saw the guy's mentality. I saw the way he was focused as an athlete. He was so competitive yet so professional. I don't think any of those guys that he'd raced in the past that had beaten him has intimidated him at all. And now he's got to the point where he is the man to beat. He's put himself in this position, he's ready to deliver.
Jersey. It was one of my first big races, and all the big boys were there, and yeah, it was an experience and a half. I was like just a wild card entry, and yeah, it was nice to run down the chute in Jersey and have a sprint finish with Mario.
What a huge confidence boost, if you don't mind, for Hayden Wilde from New Zealand.
With the depth of field, what it was like back then was unreal. So just kind of see the progression every year of going through Super League and kind of developing as an athlete. Those sort of good memories are nice to have.
And we're on to the run, and we are 1,500 metres from the end of the season.
Life is all about building stuff. You're always going to start from 0-1, but hopefully you get to the end project one day.
The Falcon Wings fly here in the desert, and Hayden Wilde is your series champion.
Very well deserved as well. 3 first places across the series, not off the podium on any day of the series. Very worthy Super League champion.
In first place, and 2022 Super League Triathlon Championship Series winner, Hayden Wilde!
When it really feels as though Hayden Wilde's personal journey as an athlete, his personal growth has been inextricably linked to Super League Triathlon, and now he stands head and shoulders above the others, and an almost flawless performance.
Yeah, hopefully old man would be pretty proud of me. I wouldn't say he ever thought I'd be in Saudi Arabia or Malta or anything like that, where the Super League series has taken me. So I've been to some pretty amazing places, and I just hope the performances I've done has made him proud, and yeah. But I don't think he ever thought I'd do triathlon, so I don't think anyone did.